Hello and welcome to the Cyber Safety News Show here on the Safety News Network. My name is Adam Blue, and each week I'll dive into the world of cybersecurity, maybe share some news of some attacks that have happened, or even provide some, best practices when you're trying to secure yourself as these crazy things tend to occur. This week, some crazy things have occurred. I've learned a new word, malvertisement. I guess it's an advertisement full of malware, and if you're using Facebook, it might be getting to you, so we'll get into that. Also, there's been some malware that has been running unknown for about 5 years that's affected over 1 million devices. We'll get into that. And then Microsoft overhauling their security operations with AI, and then an attack that happened close to home here. I'm located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and there's a cyber attack there. So kind of interesting to see how city officials deal with that stuff. But let's dive in. First of all, we'll start with Dallas County officials reported Tuesday on their defense against a cyber attack. So Dallas County officials said Tuesday that a cyber attack they now confirm was detected on October 19th has been contained with no closure of services. However, concerns remain about protecting the personal information of employees and evidence for court cases. The tax office at Dallas County's records building and every other county function operated normally, officials said. Computer networks were online for public access. A hacker group claims in an online post that it accessed data and plans to post it on Saturday. We have no idea whether what they say is true or not, and that's very common. County Commissioner John Wiley Price said, "There has been no ransom demand, according to Price. Most Dallas County data is public records anyway. What could be damaging is the public release of county employees' personal information or evidence for court cases." So that's kind of the big thing here when it comes to these cyber attacks. Sometimes the attackers aren't getting exactly what they want, but they can get some sensitive information. Just in this case, the area that they were attacking to get information from is where there's public records anyway. But that doesn't mean that the attackers could be trying to leave a back door open for some future attack or event. So kind of interesting to see how this will plan out, but it's also interesting to see how Dallas was quickly to get on this without it affecting any services, but also say, this stuff is public record anyway. So it'll be curious to see what unfolds. Because I think what I've learned in any type of a security attack situation, you never know if it's the attacker really knows what they're doing, and they might not even have anything, and they're just kind of saying it to be scary. That's what happened with Sony recently. Or if they legitimately have something. And sometimes they won't say it. They won't claim because they want to be able to kind of make it unknown, which we'll get into actually next with something that's been unknown. So check this out. Striped fly malware operated unnoticed for 5 years, infecting 1 million devices. So I feel like this is exactly what attackers are trying to get sometimes, where they can infiltrate, get into a system undetected, and just let it run its course. That's why it seems odd in some cases when groups want to claim that they're involved in a hack. I would say maybe after the fact, if everything's been resolved and there's no access, they say, yeah, we did that. But I don't think they would want to claim they did anything. I mean, unless there's some ransomware attached to that, which in that other case in Dallas, there wasn't. So with this, an advanced strain of malware masquerading as a cryptocurrency miner has managed to fly under the radar for over 5 years, infecting no less than 1 million devices around the world in the process. That's according to findings from Kaspersky, which has codenamed the threat Striped Fly, describing it as an intricate modular framework that supports both Linux and Windows. The Russian cybersecurity vendor, which first detected the samples in 2017, said the miner is part of a much larger entity that employs a custom Eternal Blue SMB v1 exploit attributed to the Equation group in order to infiltrate publicly accessible systems. Yeah, I didn't understand much of that because it's things that I'm not too familiar with specifically, but we can all understand, kind of what's going on here is, when it comes to cryptocurrency, that is a real big deal. There's a lot of trust put into that, but then there's a lot of, things in that trust that can be exploited along the way. And it's actually very common for malware to be the type of malware that is offloading system resources or data for the act of crypto mining. So it's not uncommon for this to happen. What is crazy is this went for about 5 years, but I could see about 5 years ago where that was newer for everybody. The cryptocurrency craze, the what it takes to mine cryptocurrency, it being injected into malware. In some it was done legitimately too. You might download just some random software program you need for something, and if you don't read carefully, it might say something like, we will install something on your system that can get data. That data being, resource information that helps with the mining of cryptocurrency. But 5 years is quite a long time. So, for attacks like that, what are you going to do? Microsoft has their whole security suite in place. Microsoft is overhauling its software security after major Azure cloud attacks. Microsoft is getting ready to use AI and automation to identify security vulnerabilities and respond faster to software flaws. This is from The Verge. Saying is getting ready, but Microsoft is already doing it. They have ahead of time had the machine learning, which essentially is AI. It's algorithm based to kind of detect patterns. Microsoft has had a rough few years of cybersecurity incidents. It found itself at the center of the SolarWinds attack nearly 3 years ago. But Microsoft these bigger players will always have it rough, will always be the center of it. You can't help but not. A lot of Microsoft and Amazon's, a lot of services around the world that are in the internet, that are online, their backbone infrastructure is Microsoft or Amazon. So no matter what, these companies are going to be in the middle of all this stuff. Okay, so 30,000 organizations' email servers were hacked in 2021 thanks to a Microsoft Exchange server flaw. If that weren't enough already, Chinese hackers breached U.S. government emails via a Microsoft Cloud exploit earlier this year. And that's the thing. When you're such a big name with a specific service, all the attackers are going to go after that. So something had to give. Microsoft is now announcing a huge cybersecurity effort dubbed the Secure Future Initiative. This new approach is designed to change the way Microsoft designs, builds, tests, and operates its software and services. It's the biggest change to security efforts inside Microsoft since the company announced its security development lifecycle in 2004 after Windows XP fell victim to a huge blaster worm attack that knocked PCs offline in 2003. That push came just 2 years after co-founder Bill Gates had called on trustworthy computing initiative in an internal memo. So yeah, Microsoft obviously leading the way for so long when it comes to technology and computing, especially personal computing, even in an enterprise setting, has always kind of had to be on top of security things. And that's why there's all these operating system updates, because at the core of it, Microsoft has to implement new practices technically that it can block exploits from being utilized. Let's see, any more good information? Microsoft now plans to use automation and AI during software development to improve the security of its cloud services, cut the time it takes to fix cloud vulnerabilities, enable better security settings out of the box, and harden its infrastructure to protect against encryption keys falling into the wrong hands. And it kind of reminds me how a lot of people complain about AI or these algorithm-based systems right now, how in some areas like art, movies, filmmaking, photography, sometimes it's kind of odd how it's being used because it's really borrowing ideas and information from other artists. Now, when it comes to AI and computing, it's borrowing information from other security events and user behavior so it can actually build out and map out, kind of something that makes a lot more sense than what art would normally do. And even if it's not perfect yet, the fact that Microsoft is jumping on it at the beginning and pushing it so fast is best because their AI systems can quickly build a database based on user behavior, exploits, etc. So it's really cool to see Microsoft leading the way, even though I feel like they kind of have to. But I guess what I'm saying is Microsoft's this big, huge company, right? And a lot of times we can look at these giant corporations where their bottom line is really just, to make money. But at the same time, Microsoft always tends to have a bottom line that kind of meets user demand in a way. I would look at their Xbox division, how they're really big on trying to make gaming fun. I could see the way that they are utilizing the Azure, the cloud platform. They're trying to get so many things in place to be up against any other cloud provider like Amazon, but also offering the security. So, good on Microsoft for that. But what's another big company that has had an interesting attack recently? Well, that is Facebook, or Meta. Facebook accounts hit with malicious ad attack with dangerous malware. Steps to protect yourself from the troubles delivered from the Facebook Node Stealer attack. Node Stealer, huh? So, in an alarming revelation, Bitdefender Labs has uncovered a sinister turn in cybercrime tactics on Facebook. Hackers are using a new virus called Node Stealer to steal your cookies and passwords. It's a sneaky piece of code that runs on JavaScript and Node.js, and it can grab your web browser data and use it to hack into your Facebook account. Well, how do they do it? They use cunning Malvertising campaigns, which are fake ads that look like they're from Meta, the company that owns Facebook. When you click on these ads, you're actually downloading the Node Stealer virus, which then starts to spy on your online activity. Reminds me of what we were talking about last week with Wikipedia, how malware could be part of the edits people make into Wikipedia, but you can inject some code in there. And that's what these attackers are doing, but with advertising on Facebook. And here's the thing. Companies like Meta are making their money off of advertising. So they're like, yeah, you want to advertise, you want to pay for advertising, let's have that available. And so you get attackers are like, okay, how can we exploit this? And that's exactly what they've thought of here is, hey, let's just inject some malware code into the advertising because, people are going to click on it. That's how money's being made, so they know people click on ads, even though I tend not to. So people have to out there, right? And then it just happens to download something that is just able to get information from your browser, including passwords, cookies. You can log into your accounts, which is pretty crazy. And it's interesting, though, a lot of the ads are to look like they're hackers that are trying to look like they're women trying to entice a man, which that's an easy way to get to a guy, right? Use a woman. And that's actually what they're doing here to get people to fall for it and to click through, and then they lose their data. So just yet another way, something to keep a lookout for on that. So pretty interesting week of news, something that hit close to home, but it doesn't seem to be a big deal. And that's with the Dallas Public Records. Very interesting there. And then Microsoft overhauling with AI, which I think is inevitable. It's good to see Microsoft, though, being at the front of that, since a lot of systems around the world are relying on that Azure backend. The malware that has lasted for 5 years, that's just crazy. And it makes me think, how many people out there, and you including, could have a computer that you haven't reset or refreshed in 5 years, and maybe you got a virus a long time ago, didn't realize it, it is slowly crypto mining for someone else. I mean, I bet that's very common out there. And then lastly, the word of the week, malvertising. Never thought of that before, makes complete sense. It's kind of funny, even though it's kind of sad too. So if you're out there and you find an enticing ad that you want to click on, don't click on an ad. Maybe do a Google search of what the ad is about, just to be safe. I mean, hey, this is how these companies are making money, but if malware can be involved, which malware has always been involved with ads for a while, don't we have a degree of safety we owe ourselves? I know ad blocking systems are usually frowned upon, but if you're using ad block, you're protecting yourself. That's a very interesting topic I haven't really thought about too much, but I would say that if you're going to use an ad blocking program, which again can save you, even though some sites are against it, if you visit a site that you know is trustworthy, maybe turn off the ad block, let the ads run, let them make that money, whether you click on it or not, I don't know. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, listening in this week's Cyber Safety News Show. Please subscribe if you haven't, like the video if you think it's cool. Let me know what you think about any of the articles we touched on today, because it's kind of scary out there and you want to be protected. So anyway, guys, until next week, we'll talk later.